Today we're talking about 6 ways that you can improve latency sensitive applications in Azure, especially things like Progress Database. Take it away.
Number 1, sounds pretty obvious, but people don't always think of it. You need to choose the right region for your services. So obviously there's lots of regions to choose from, and it's always best to choose one that is closest to your end users or your head office or the particular staff that are going to use that particular application, or perhaps your own customers are going to access that application. Number 2, again, commonly overlooked, accelerated networking. Accelerated networking reduces the latency on all applications and systems that use the enhanced adapters in Azure. So the way it works is it effectively cuts out part of the path. So it removes the virtual switch from the path and puts you directly onto the Azure backbone. This will save quite a few milliseconds of latency, and it is worth trying if you've got a virtual machine that isn't getting the throughput that you think it should be, or is seeing higher latency than you might expect. So number 3, again, commonly overlooked, disk performance. There are lots of bottlenecks when it comes to disks in Azure, and choosing the right SKU can make sure that you get the application performance that you need. So we tend to consider only really using SSD and premium SSD for most of our application servers, and where we've got applications that demand very high latency or very low latency, we will look to use the right level of disk. There is also a level above premium SSD. You've got premium SSD v2, and ultra SSD is available in some regions, and that will provide you with that NVMe level of latency, so super, super low. Next, we all know that Azure has multiple regions, and within those regions there are multiple availability zones. Now, those availability zones can be made up of multiple different data centers, sometimes the same data center, and placing your workload in the same availability zone will help to ensure that you've got a low level of latency. For example, if you've got an application server that runs a particular type of database, like Progress DB is one that we're really familiar with. If you have Progress DB servers sat inside a different availability zone as, say, where your AVD environment is, what you'll notice is you'll get an application slowdown because you're adding that time for the traffic to traverse from AVD from one availability zone to another to reach your application server and to get that data. And certain database systems are way more latency sensitive than others. So then to take that one step further, because an availability zone can span multiple data centers, so you could have 2 DCs that might be almost next to each other that are part of the same availability zone. We can use something called proximity placement groups. Proximity placement groups guarantee that your resources are next to one another. So it guarantees they're in the same data center and in close proximity to one another. You can apply this to all manner of groups. Most commonly, you can use virtual machines, availability sets, etc. And that's going to give you the very best throughput, performance, and latency by keeping all of those machines close to each other. So next, something not commonly used, but is very beneficial when it comes to improving latency, and that is ExpressRoute. So ExpressRoute, where we've used it, can save around 10 milliseconds in terms of round trip time. So from a customer's environment where they might have, say, a network or an MPLS, getting an ExpressRoute to take that traffic directly into Azure can save several milliseconds, which when you're dealing with very latency sensitive applications is quite a significant improvement. So we hope you've enjoyed today's really short video talking about the 6 ways that you can improve your latency sensitive applications in Azure. Hopefully you found some benefits in there, and we might look to release some videos on more detail in terms of those specific points on what you can do. If you've got any applications or videos you'd like to see us talk about, please leave a comment in the comments section and we'll see what we can do. So we all know that Azure has, oh dear.